I needed to get a video of disassembling this because I wanted to show you the difference in the quality of plastic on the different areas of the greenhouse. Here, the plastic is just as good as it was when I put it up. This is also the place that has the most of these short supports in between the long 2x4s. And it's the place where I got it. I was worried about the wind on this side. So I had these on the outside of all of my plastic. So this plastic didn't move much. It moved hardly at all. It barely moved. And there's nothing wrong with it. The sun didn't destroy it. The wind didn't destroy it because it just didn't move. On this side, what I had holding it in place was these. And all you have to do, well, this one isn't even as bad as the last side. But you can see what's happening here. That was spontaneous. Over here, it's just kind of a lost cause. But you see, how many uprights do I have here? 0. No, none of those short uprights were here. So every time the wind came by, it flapped really, really hard. So it wasn't the sun, because I've got other spots that got just as much sun. And it wasn't the wind. It was that I didn't have uprights. Trying to remember how it is back here. I have not nearly as many uprights back here, but I have some uprights. And that one's holding together pretty well too. The worst place was on the roof. I couldn't reach it all very well. And there were only a few places that I actually secured down. And so that plastic lasted 6 months with violent winds and hot sun and very few securing spots. So all in all, I think it was successful. This here's not too bad. But you can see again, where it did give way is where I did secure it. And it just took everything out. This here is still strong around this, because this is not structural. This is just holding plastic on. Same thing here in this corner. All that plastic is just fine. I'm going to take it all down. I'm going to add some more vertical supports, those short little supports in all these spaces. We're going to put new plastic on. And then on the roof, I am going to put a 2x4 underneath that brace. There in the middle. Can you see it? This one right here. Can I use my finger? No. This one right here is bowing a bit. And I've seen this done in greenhouses before where they'll just stick a 2x4 up under it. I'm going to take out the grow bed. Why am I going to take out the grow bed? I'm going to take out the grow bed. I guess I don't have to take out the grow bed. What I wanted to do was put the ducks and the rabbits in here and see what happened. See if it stayed warm enough to be able to breed the rabbits through the winter without external heat. If I use my tall grow bed for that, the ammonia gets so strong in here it'll kill my rabbits. So I was going to simplify things, take out my grow bed, and do an in-ground garden just to try for the winter. The problem is it's almost the end of August now, and I needed the last real window for planting for winter harvest is the second week in August. September's too late, and we're almost in September. And it is cold. It's in the 50s during the day, and it's in the 40s at night. We had rain for 3 weeks, so it is actually freakishly wet. 3 weeks of rain. And here in the last week, it wasn't really cold for that rain, but now it's really chilled down. 50s during the day, 40s at night. So I think the hotbed is a great idea. I don't think it's a great idea as far as in a greenhouse. because it means that it limits what I can do in the greenhouse the rest of the year. Once it gets to be about April-ish, it's too hot in here for things to survive. And in February, the off-gassing is so extreme that the ammonia kills everything. So where I think a hotbed would work is in the open air. Paige, go back in the house and get your chores done, please. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to do cold frames on these because I did plant these in August. And for the green one, I'm just going to zip it up. So far, the green one is my favorite. It kind of shades them a little bit in the summer, and all you have to do is zip it down in the winter. We'll see how it goes. So all my winter crops are already planted in these 3 beds. And I need to pull those tomatoes out and plant in that bed. But again, it's kind of getting too late for that. And we might get warm weather again. And if we get warm weather again for a month, some of my tomatoes might ripen. These tomatoes ripen just fine. So as far as the greenhouse goes, it's, as always, been a learning experience. And it's just a little bit tedious now to kind of take things down. It would be nice if we could just do the rigid plastic everywhere and not have to worry about this again. But the problem is, if I do that and I spend the money, it means I won't have to learn how to just use the greenhouse. So I'm restricting myself, just learn about the greenhouse. At this point, venting is a problem. What I'd really like to do is have a hinge on the top at the back so that I can just unroll it or unhinge it so that all the heat that's rising to the top just goes out that vent. So I don't really want to put rigid plastic on and then have to dismantle things. Oddly enough, some of the biggest expense is actually cutting these little vertical uprights, because an 8-foot, these are almost 2 feet. So you only get 4 of these out of a 2x4x8. So they're actually kind of pricey, which is why I didn't do as many as I should have. But everything needs to have one of these vertical uprights about every 2 feet. It really helps with the anchoring and keeping the plastic from being beat up. Let's see, what else would I do differently? Probably in the back, I would have not had it be that great of a distance between the horizontal timbers. Here, I don't think it was that great. Maybe here it was, but it's just not as tall, so it doesn't seem that way. Anyway, so I'm going to tweak it a bit. It gives me something else to wish I had more money for, but it's the way to fail as a gardener is to have too much money. Because then you can just buy your plants and have somebody else take care of them. So by not having money, you learn it yourself and you learn it well, and you have some good memories from it. So like right here, right now, I'm looking at how I made that door and I'm like, wow, that was really smart. Look at how good I did. Because I had some old wood that was already in tees that I didn't build myself, and I thought I'll just put hinges on that. And it totally worked. You see a buzzard? Can you even see that? I don't know why we have so many buzzards out right now. I think they're just kind of enjoying flying after we had all that rain. So, here's my next project. It costs about $65 to get enough plastic to cover this greenhouse. What, honey? And again, the problem is, as soon as we get into April, our sun is so direct and we get so little rain generally that it just gets too hot in here. So come about May, end of April, beginning of May, I would probably plant my tomatoes and my melons in here. And only use this as a winter garden for leftover crops in the winter. I wouldn't plant any normal plants in here. I would plant my winter crop in August if our weather was good. That's the problem. It just got so stinking hot. Paige, what did you do to Cloud? I gotta go rescue a goat.